welcome to another episode of Couple Moves Away. Listen, if you guys rock with us, do me a favor. I want you to like, subscribe, follow, send it to your mama, send it to
Smoke
your
signal
grandmama.
it. You know what I'm saying? Do all the
Yes,
things.
send a pigeon to your best friend. Whatever you need to do, make sure you are following Couple Moves Away. We appreciate the love. Today we have a very, very special episode for you guys. Conversation with a badass chingona. I want you guys to give it up for my wife's homegirl, and I'll let her do the intro.
Yvett G. G, 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 G. G, G.
Thank you.
So Yvette is one of my longtime, I can't even say like my nail tech. She's like turned into a homegirl. Like I think guys go to barbershops and like get therapy. We go to nail shops and beauty shops and get therapy.
Yep.
So I don't even know how long we've been friends. When was that? I'm not gonna say the name, but that
place.
raggedy place in North
That
Hollywood.
place.
Yes. How long ago was that?
That was like 8 years ago.
So
9 years ago,
I've
something
known
like
you
that.
for a
Dang,
minute,
yes.
and I followed her around. And I remember. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I remember when I followed you to your mom's like little store.
Yeah.
You were doing nails out of her mom's little Van Nuys like
Bridal shop.
a bridal shop. You
Yeah.
know. So anyway, so you're my nail girl turned home girl, and let's just tell the people who you are, what your background is, what your title is. Like you. Like describe yourself how you want to be known.
Oh, I hate this question. Like the whole title or name yourself, like that's such a hard thing. But so I'm Yvette, obviously. I mean, I figured we would know that. Yeah, so I am from LA originally. My life has been a little bit of it's a roller coaster. But anyway,
It's a journey.
It's been a journey.
Journey.
I was born in LA. We lived in Mexico. Then I moved to Nebraska. So I lived in the
Nebraska.
Midwest. I lived
Nebraska.
in Nebraska for like 8 years when I was a kid. My childhood. I think
For 8 years?
For 8 years. So all of my life has been like specific places during specific, like, I guess, stages.
Formative
So,
times of your
yes,
life.
Like, but it's very like specific, right? So like my childhood was like Nebraska. People were like, how was Nebraska? I was like, I was a kid. Who cares? Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I was a child.
Yeah, and it was fun because it didn't matter where you were. You know,
Right.
there was snow. That was nice. But then you get tired of the snow. At 14, we moved back to Mexico with just my mom and I. So all my teenage years were in Mexico.
Okay.
You know, I did high school.
And that's a whole lot of fun.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
My mom took me over there to get me out of trouble. I don't know if that worked. She was like, I don't want you, because Nebraska is there's really not much to do. So you do tend to get in trouble. You tend to, there's nothing to do. So as, the youth tends to either drugs or get pregnant, things like that. So we moved to Mexico so she could have better control. And yeah, quote unquote. Yeah,
Traviesa.
yeah. I mean, it was better because at least I didn't get pregnant.
Hey.
And I was too scared. But then, I did high school
Out there.
out there.
Okay.
I started college. I went to Universidad de Guadalajara.
Oh.
I didn't finish, unfortunately, in life, but it's all right. I still got a good few years and good experiences. And then I moved back to LA.
So you're technically first generation. You were born here.
Yeah.
This is why we like connect so much.
We
a
have a
lot
lot
of
in
our
common.
conversations are very overlapped.
Yeah.
So okay, you get here, you get back. Now the nails. How'd
that come about?
How'd that come about? And we all know, in the nail industry back in that time, wasn't many Latinos in that industry. So let's
There
talk
were.
about
You just didn't know about it.
what?
Mhm.
School me. Okay, so nails. How we get there and how did it go in the industry?
So the reason I bring up all that is because that has a lot to do with how I got into the nails. So when we moved to Mexico, because it was like in the middle of the year, basically I just didn't come back from winter break. I was already in Mexico. So the way schools over there, I lived in a small town. So there's a morning shift and an afternoon shift. So I just fit in where I could, which was afternoon. And school started at 2, didn't end until 8. So my mom was like, you're not about to just wake up in the middle of the day and do nothing and then just go to school. Like, no, you got to do something in the morning. So she just wanted to keep me busy. Made me choose between cosmetology, computer something, and like baking. I'm like,
Baking.
yeah, I'm like, I'll do the cosmetology thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm a tomboy. And I've always been, like, I'm a lot more in my feminine now, but my root is I'm a tomboy, and I'm much more a tomboy back then. So I was like, I really didn't want to do any of it, but I'm like, whatever, fine, I'll do that. And obviously cosmetology has everything, but when I got into the nail part, I really liked it. Like, and it came easier to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So that's super creative. Have you always felt like you were a creative type, or how did you like gravitate towards that versus because you could have been just as creative in baking?
Yeah. I actually went to school for international business.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. I want to do like import exports. I just wanted to do something with travel. That was basically my everything that I ever thought of.
Uh-huh.
For me, I'm all over the place. I want this and then I want that, I want that. But one thing that was always common was traveling. Something either I wanted to travel for work or just have enough money to travel. One of the two.
Yeah.
So with the creative though, I've always been creative. Unfortunately, having Hispanic and traditional parents,
Yep.
creativity is not really reinforced or encouraged.
You tell them, girl. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not. So I didn't really know that I was creative, I guess. But now that I look back, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I've
was-
always been creative.
yeah, always. Like I'm an only child, right? I grew up an
Okay.
only child. So I remember one time, back in the day, the computers with the computer,
The
the
big old
the
chunky.
mouse, the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
girl, tell me why I made one out of like cardboard boxes and stuff in my room. Like I was really imaginative. Like I would just figure out stuff and create little. I would make things out of paper and boxes and stuff. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always been very creative.
Wow.
So when you got into nails or cosmetology and then you're gravitating to nails, did it at some point overshadow your education? And was it a problem in your house with your mom? Like, did it become like, I really want to do this? And she was like, no.
No, because my mom encouraged it. My mom
Okay.
wanted me to stay busy. So my mom's
Okay.
also like, let's always have a backup plan, right? So she's like, she wanted me to always have that. She's like, go to school, go to, college or to university, finish. She always wanted me to still do that on the side and keep busy. So I started doing nails when I was 15.
Oh, snap.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Because school was, and I wasn't supposed to go until I was like 16 or whatever. She got me a little bit, no, she's mature enough, which I was. And then I stopped for a bit. So it took me a lot longer to finish that. But I was already doing like my little friends and like my little friends from school. They would come in and stuff and just I would
A
practice
little
on them.
clientele.
Yeah.
So you pretty much went from as a young adult, you've been in nails pretty much your whole life. You haven't worked. Have you ever been like a secretary or
I've had a few jobs. I mean, I can
manager
count them.
or-
Yeah. I worked at McDonald's when I was 14
Uh-huh.
in Nebraska
uh-huh.
because you could work a little younger. Because the thing is, I like shoes.
Yeah.
She
My mom
loves sneakers.
I love sneakers. So I wanted specific things, and my mom was like, "I'm gonna buy you what you need, not what you want." So I'm like, "Well, then work." I was like, "Bet."
Yeah.
So I went and I did it. Bet, say less.
Yeah.
I went and got all the stuff that I needed from school to have permission to work. Went and did that, and my first job was McDonald's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my
So-
dad was upset.
So now we fast
you were
forward. Your
working
pops
young?
was upset.
Or that you
My
were
dad
doing
was
nails.
upset because what would it look like that he had his 14-year-old daughter working? Because my parents owned a dealership back then, like little used car dealership.
Uh-huh.
So it was very like,
So now
Machismo.
we fast forward into where you are now, and you're like you've blown the hell up, right? You have this huge line coming out right now in partnership.
Huge Instagram following.
Yeah.
She does. If you don't know her, she's not gonna do it for her. I'm gonna pump her up. Okay.
Drop your girl.
She does the celebrities, and then she does me, and then and then there's me. She does the celebrities. She has a dope collab that just dropped like last week with Nicki Minaj.
It's not a collab. So basically, she has her press online that's
Uh-huh.
coming. She's creating her own press online. So she brought me on to help her. I've been doing nails for a few years, and obviously she's got so much on her plate. So she just basically was like, "Hey, I need Yvette to come on," and I've helped with the creative process. Like we've worked on the designs.
Oh, you're like a creative director.
yeah,
then.
Yeah.
you're a creative director.
Yeah.
You're like the
Nice.
curator of the nails.
Sick.
Yeah.
So this is who she is. And on top of that, she's a mother. She's a first generation woman handling her business. So she's all the things that, when we look at, examples of the success of women, we don't all look like corporate university degree, not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's people who have made their own path in a different way and they're still successful and I would say happy because you have the freedom to listen. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's very hard, but you're doing it on your own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you fast forward and you get to this point, but how did you get from? Because you've done some really big celebrities' nails. How
Can
do you
you
go
share
from?
some,
Yeah.
like,
Can you
more
share some of their
besides-
names?
Can you
She's like dropped. Yeah.
just
yeah.
drop the names, girl? Drop the names.
I mean, I've done just. I mean, I guess Beyonce.
Damn, that's a hell of a. I don't even know if you need to drop another.
Drake.
Drake.
She did Drake.
Oh,
You did Drake's nails.
Yes.
What did he get done?
No, he just clean.
Hello,
Just a little
man.
cuticle.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
I seen him
But
been wearing
still,
some weird stuff.
she
lately.
touched Drake's
I touched
hands,
Drake.
people. Okay, go ahead. Beyonce, Drake.
So Drake.
That was not an intentional situation. That was more of like I was there and like, oh, just trim real quick. I said, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
No, but like clientele, obviously Nicki Minaj. I do Jeffree Star, Kelly Rowland. I've done all Destiny's Child. That was a goal. I've done them all. Well, the last three, not the originals. But I don't know. I see sometimes it's hard for me to sometimes just
Name drop.
Name
She's
drop.
It's
very,
okay.
she's very.
She's
we
done.
just-
She's
she's
done
done
big.
a lot.
Once
okay?
she said
Beyonce,
and followed it by Drake, I think you get the point.
yes,
She could only said Michael Jackson, and I would have been
and
a
she could
little
have
bit more
said,
impressed.
you know, J Lo, and that was like that was. But she's pretty much touched the celebrities.
So, but how do you go from like? There's a lot of people out there who are in the cosmetology industry, and they're looking at like, yo, how do I get to be able to do that? How did you get to Beyonce? How do you get to that level where you're doing somebody like that, or Nicki Minaj's nails? How do you get from girl working at a nail salon to owning your own business, being a designer with a huge celebrity? How does that transition go? Walk us through that.
Well, I think a lot of that it has to do where I worked. I did work at a big salon where like a lot of celebrities came and stuff. And I think one of the first ones was like Kylie Jenner back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of started being like when the celebrities would come in. Obviously, I've been doing this for so long compared to the other girls. Like they were all talented. Obviously, they were just kind of like, okay, I was a little more, I guess, confident with it. I was able to like not. I didn't really get nervous, even though inside I would probably be like, oh my god. But I don't really get starstruck or anything like that. So that has a lot to do with it. It's not just about being able to do nails. You have to be able to stay professional and be able to sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Act
Yeah.
like you're cool,
Mm-hmm.
even though inside you're not. But you just act like you're cool, and everybody's like, "You seem so cool." I'm like, "Oh, you have no idea."
Yeah.
I was sweating, and that has a lot to. I think I was confident around everybody, and I was really confident in myself when it came to my work. So, they just started giving me all the people. Once I left that place, this is when the influencer time was like really, really big. Like when
Yeah.
influencers were super big. So I was doing a lot of these influencers, like makeup influencers. I
Okay.
think that had a lot to do with it. It was a good little segue.
Okay.
Social media was big. It was a shout out. And I started doing like, for example, like Patrick Star, Jeffree Star, things like that. Like a
Mhm.
lot of those Sarai, I love Sarai, like random people like that. And people just called me or would
Wow.
DM me.
And because word of mouth changed from being mouth, it became word of
Social
social media.
Word of
so
social media.
yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
So, but do you think so? Somebody who's like, say, in Nebraska, you think they would have even ever an opportunity to grow like that, or do they have to go to a big city?
I think that being in the big city definitely is a big deal. That's why now so many people have moved with that intention of just becoming a celebrity nail tech. I never had that intention.
Oh, okay. It just kind of happened.
Yeah,
Just by
that was not my
happenstance.
goal. Like I had never set out to be a celebrity nail tech.
And I'm gonna kind of like drop some stuff in there because a few things you mentioned that I want to point out. In any industry, anything that you want to do, your passion or your focus should be on your skill. It should be on that should be the love, not the chase of the money, not the chase of clout or notoriety. Like that's the love. And I firmly believe that anything that you follow with your whole heart will lead to other things, that will fulfill you in other ways. Even though you didn't set out to be a celebrity artist, that's what you became because you were so confident in your work and you love what you do. Like you love what you do.
I do.
Not saying it's not easy, but you love what you do. You sometimes get exhausted. I've seen you're exhausted. You're like squeezing me in. You're trying to get your son to school. Like you're doing all the things, but you love what you do. So, in anything that you people watching do, that's a big takeaway. Number one. Number two, another thing that I want to also kind of emphasize is, aside from your skill set, who are you? Your personality. You're a good person. You're a down to earth, dope ass, solid chick, and that takes you a long way. People respect you. People, trust that you're gonna show up. Like who you are is solid. So aside from the skill and what you do, and who and the celebrity, like if you're not solid and do good business, then who cares how skilled and skilled you are? So that's something I also kind of want to bring up. I feel like a lot of the foundation of all the success that you're continuing to build is so stable because you know who you are, you're secure of who you are. And we've talked about this. We sometimes do have the imposter syndrome in the moments. We're women. We have the doubts and the what am I doing and what's happening and how am I going to make it tomorrow, next week? But for the most part, like you follow your instincts.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Great drop. So, okay, as a guy, now school me. Back in the day, you could give your girl like $40 and her nails would be straight. Why? What the fuck happened with nail inflation? Like, what? Why are nails so expensive now?
Today's prices are not yesterday's prices are not today's prices.
But okay,
sir.
as a guy, just help me understand what is so expensive about nails. Is it the art now?
No. It's the material, the work. It's a lot. Okay, so
I'm not discounting it.
So here's
And
the
you
thing.
know,
Back in the day, you could go into a shop and get your nails done in like an hour. You
Okay.
probably still can, right?
Uh-huh.
Technically.
You still can. I wouldn't.
You can.
advise it.
But they're 1 hour looking nails.
Yeah.
You know, they look like, you know, look at the nails back then to how they look now, like the shape. We've just the industry has changed. We've evolved so much in the way that we like shape. We've, you know, and just products in general. So you add all of that, our skill set has changed, our focus, artwork has changed, you know. So nails don't take an hour anymore. They take 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah. Depending upon how elaborate and how
elaborate.
And someone did tell me that the materials that you guys use though has skyrocketed.
Oh my God, like insane. It's inflation. Like everything is, all the prices have risen. And people always say like, oh my God, nails are too expensive. And I always say one thing, as much as I love what I do and I'm very passionate, I'm very knowledgeable about what I do.
Very knowledgeable.
That's one thing I like to know the why of certain things. So product, why do I use this? I use everything, I try everything. So I've gotten to see all the prices and how certain things have gone. I've adapted and changed to this product because of this. But the thing too is like nails are a luxury.
Yeah.
You don't need to get your nails done.
That
You
part.
really don't.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to look pretty. Look at me right now. I don't have my nails done. Like that's embarrassing. But it's like I just didn't have time, whatever. But you don't need to get your nails done.
Yeah. A girl checked me once with something that made a lot of sense to me. She said, how much I had on a designer t-shirt. And she said, how much is that t-shirt? And I said, well, like at the time it was like $395, $400. And I was like $400. And she was like, how often do you wear it? And I was like, well, like, I don't know, once every other month or so. And so she goes, so you maybe 6 times a year. She's like, I wear my nails for almost 2 weeks. So she was like, I get 14 uses out of them. And I pay, back then it was like $100. So she was like, I pay like $100. So what's the difference between what I'm doing and what you're doing? It's still, and I was like, damn, I never thought about it like that, you know? So I'm sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and it's also now it's become like an artwork, an expression, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the way because you have like corporate girls, you know, got corporate baddies with the little nails, but they got a little artwork and intricate. So it's like a way of them being able to still express themselves. So it's an art piece. Just you're into art, you know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And every person chooses what they want to focus on.
Yeah.
You know, some girls are about their hair, like, I can go wherever, but my hair is never going to be a mess. Other girls are about their makeup. Some girls, it's their nails. They could do whatever. Even like Yvonne said, she's like, I can do this. I figured out how to do this myself, but my nails, I have to get my nails done.
There was a time, girl, where I couldn't afford you. There was a time where when you moved to, I forgot where you moved to, I was like, shit. And I looked at your price. I'm like, I can't afford Yvette right now. Because, you know, I was like, when you're an actor or like an artist, you wake up unemployed every day until you have an actual contract. When I have a contract, it's easier for me to like write that off as part of my expenses for, you know, for part of my presentation, my marketing. But like, this is why I'm like, oh, I can't afford her. So I'd go like some little, like, not like super bad places. I would try to look for well-reviewed, you know, salons. And I would still be I would look at my nails and go, ugh, disgusted, you know? And so finally I got to a place where, yay, I'm going to get my nails done. But kind of like what you said, I remember growing up, I couldn't afford to get nails. Back in the day, it was $25 for a full set, girl. Back in the day, I'm talking about like the 90s.
Airbrush.
Yeah, an extra $25 for airbrush.
Oh, yeah,
I could never afford that. I could never afford that. Just a basic, like, you know, nail. So now, like, it's in a weird way. Like, I'm living my youthful dreams. Whenever I go to her, I started out remember I was like real conservative, like real just short.
She said that so sound like, oh yeah.
It was real real short, and I would try to keep them like.
I take them on the journey.
She evolved my nail game, girl. And now it's like I cannot not have art on my nails.
Yeah.
Because it is something that makes me happy. I look at my nails and I kind of go like, that's fun. And then it's also kind of a great icebreaker. Women go, oh my God, I love your nails. It just, I don't know, it makes me feel good.
Nails definitely have a superpower in the women
They
community.
They really do. You get your nails
really
in and
does.
you're already
And
like,
you
you're
feel-
talking.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, just.
And I know women who don't play about their nails at all. Like
Yep.
they're gonna get those things done. They don't give a damn. That car could get repossessed before they skip a nail appointment.
Okay, I would not advise
I'm just
that.
saying. I know women who are like that.
Yeah.
There's some. In fact, there's a couple at the station. They're like, I'm like, yo, how much you pay for that? And she's like, you don't want to know. She was like, I just close my eyes and swipe the credit card.
For my hopefully it goes through. Now, for my ladies out there, listen. Couple Moves Away also is we're wanting to elevate y'all. We're wanting to educate y'all. We're wanting to inspire y'all. We do not recommend that you go broke trying to look cute, especially for me as a woman.
And this is why we have segued now, as much as I've done nails, into what I'm doing now, which is this whole press-on line, which is going to be something affordable. It's going to be. It's going to be something that's not out there. It's something different, you know, because press-ons now are just janky looking. And they're just very like, you know, you want to be the baddie with the long nails and stuff, you can't find it. Or you have to go get custom press-ons, which they're beautiful. And you can still do that. You know, that's still going to be a market for like the girls that want a specific thing. But yeah, now you're gonna be able to have that other option, and if you really can't, because you have to be smart. Like I get it, and I tell my clients like, or I've had clients who have told me like it happens all the time. Girl, I can't come to you right now. Girl, don't worry about it. I'll be here
Yeah.
whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, speaking of, I'm in a car group with a guy who he's working right now in China to develop this machine that women will just stick their hand in and AI will do
No,
your nails.
makeup. It
No,
was makeup.
it was nails.
Oh, okay.
Remember the one? Remember I sent it
Because
to
they
you?
already have it.
It's
They already
already
have the nail
existing.
one.
Yeah, but the problem with the problem. Oh, that was with the makeup.
It was the makeup.
But how do you feel like? Well, still even with that, how do you feel AI will affect your industry? Do you think? No,
think so.
not worried about it because it lacks the personality, right? Like there's no your therapist ain't there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you don't wanna
lacks the
talk to a
experience.
machine.
I know. I want to go. Now, the only place I've seen that little AI laser nail machine was at an airport.
Yeah,
That was smart. Now, for a while, I had an idea of opening up a salon in an airport myself. I'm like, dude, a little like pit stop, a little the red tape on an airport trying to get business in there is hard. But I saw the machine. I'm like, that's kind of smart. That's a little 10, 15-minute change of nail real quick. But I would never migrate from this experience because it's a thing. We
You call it
go,
an
we talk, we
experience.
talk. It's an experience. And me, when my homegirl, we got the tequila, we got the drinks.
So it takes 4 hours.
We be sitting there, we be having a good time.
This is why it takes 4 hours.
Yeah, you can't, and I mean, I know now people do that now, like especially here in Texas, it's very popular. You go in, they're like, "Can I get you champagne or wine?" No, ma'am, I don't know you, Jackie. I need my girl Yvette. I don't need Jackie and Tammy. I need Yvette and Carolyn and my homegirls who speak my language. Who we talk about dating, we talk about birth, we talk about finances, we talk about a lot of things in our. We almost were like, shit, we should do a podcast in a nail shop.
Yeah.
That'd be
Because
sick.
we have some very deep.
Y'all don't steal that. We're gonna patent that.
Right.
Mark, checking that out. Thank
We've had some very heart to heart conversations. We've had I know I was going through a moment and you guys like I wasn't even looking for it. They poured me a tequila shot and they're like, "Girl, just sit down. Let's just talk." So it becomes more than just nails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. So you being first generation Mexican American and being able to reach the level of success that you've reached, I used to be around some of the industry for a little while before I even met my wife. And I haven't seen too many people who look like you, who come from where you come from. Why is that industry so Asian dominated? And then how are you finally able to break through that? I guess it's like a ceiling. You broke through like a ceiling. So how do you? And then in that industry, in the movie industry, it was a lot of Caucasian people. How did you get in there and maneuver? How did you do that?
I think also because a lot of my clientele is not that type of clientele. If you notice, it's definitely, first of all, thank you. You think I still feel like I have so much more, and I still feel like I haven't broken through the way that I want to, because my biggest thing like right now is like I want us to all be up there, because like you said earlier, we're saying like there's not a lot of Latinas. There has. When I first started doing nails, I did it in Mexico, and it was like a whole community. We were into the acrylic, and that's how I got my first job. I had the crazy little bling stuff that they didn't have here yet. I
It was
brought
in
it from
Mexico?
Mexico. Yeah, I had my nails done like they were clear, like purple
it is.
with
She
like
was
little
trendsetting.
3D, with like little 3D flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
I went to like I think it was like a Sally's or some random little place because I didn't know like a nail supply
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And I was in there looking for like to fill my nails because I didn't want to bring no mysterious white powder on the plane from
Right.
Mexico.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let me leave. I just brought my little case. You know what? It's so funny because my mom reminds me all the time. I have like a little case like that. No, not even smaller than that. That was like my nail supplies, right?
Little kabukis.
A little, yeah, I want to
Look,
kind of, yeah.
yeah.
And so that's what I brought. That's what I started with. And so I didn't have no acrylics and everything. I went to go look for that. And being there, some lady was like, "Do you do nails?" And it was in Spanish. I'm like, "Oh, I do." She's like, "Oh, it's because I'm trying to buy her stuff because she's working on my salon, but she doesn't really know English, so we don't know what to get." And I'm like, "Okay." So I helped her get the stuff. And she was like, "Do you do nails?" And she was like, "Oh, let me see your nails." And like you said, it's an icebreaker. She was like, "Oh my God, where'd you get your nail? Oh my God, I've never seen." She was so like, "Oh, wow."
Impressed.
She was Hispanic. And then I told her, I was like, "Oh, I did it myself." And she was like, "First of all, that's how your nails are already crazy. Second, you did them yourself. What do you mean?" I was like, "I did them myself." Like she just couldn't wrap around that, right? Ended up getting a job. Like I got home, I'm like, "Mom, I got a job."
So how old were you?
This is when I moved back, so I was like 19.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I had just because we moved to the valley, so I definitely didn't know anybody in the valley. Like my family and everybody was like LA. So this is my mom's side of the family. We were in the valley. So I'm like, literally a week. I just moved back a week. And I'm like, oh, I have a job. I was like, what do you mean? What? I
You
was
just
like,
got here.
I didn't really have a license, but that was a different situation, you know?
He's like, don't worry, don't ask no questions about that. Allegedly.
Allegedly. And yeah, I started doing, and ironically, I never really even got to do nails because this is a funny story. One time, there was like a little restaurant next to the nail salon. It was like a Hispanic salon, like, you know, typical of
Yeah.
Hispanic with the hair. Yeah.
Say.
So I went next to get coffee, and they're like, oh, somebody's waiting for you to get their nails done. I was like, oh, okay, I'll be right there. The lady was already at the table. So I walk in, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. So I walk in, and I sit down, and she's like, it's a Hispanic lady. You're doing the nails? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, no, never mind. She gets up, and she left because I wasn't a chinita.
Oh, really? So, but why
That's
is that
real.
Why is that industry
That is so
So
real.
the reason I brought that was because of that. So it's just it has history. It's back in what was it, like the 50s, 60s? It was imposed by this actress. I forgot what her name was. It T? No, it was a different. I forgot what her name was. But she basically, I think it was her nail tech. She was Vietnamese and started, and it became like this whole program, and like they encouraged like people from Vietnam and to
wow.
yeah, it was like
I
a
did
U.S.
not know
program.
that.
Yeah. So that they would go and educate them because that way they would have a way of them being able to support themselves, and
When
it
they
just
got here.
became a big thing within their community.
Wow.
Wow, you're schooled. I'm
yeah,
pretty
there-
sure everybody.
There,
listening to this.
I don't want to say more because I'm not fully, I don't remember everything, but yeah.
Wow. And so coming from that into the industry, like how does one kick in that door? Now you had a segue, but let's say someone doesn't have that segue. What advice would you give that person to, like, how do they do that?
Well, for me, it was the fact that I stood out and I did something different that was not done, you know, because now it's evolved. Now we're in a whole different thing. So I will say, I think now it's going to be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Because now everybody does nails.
Yes, everybody thinks they can
They,
do
they,
it.
they can, yeah. Yeah.
And you have different, you know, nail systems that make it a lot easier. So
the Gel
that's
X.
like the Gel X. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, that's a good thing because we have more opportunities, but it's also become a bad thing because a lot of these people just go into it just because you can make money and because it's like they think it's gonna be the
Yeah.
It's just like the trendy thing to do to make easy money, right?
Yeah.
And they've kind of watered down the industry.
Yeah.
But if you go into with the intention solely of just being a celebrity thing, I don't think that it's gonna be there's not gonna be longevity. Because even with me, I've gone to these things and there's been pauses, there's been plateaus where I definitely don't do anything, and there's some other times that I do, and it's been in like an evolution. And then another thing I realized, I really prefer to do. Sorry, I pretty prefer to do like the set jobs and stuff like that. Like that's the cool stuff. Like
Oh, you like doing that?
I love doing that, but I like doing like the commercial stuff because that's
Okay.
where there's more money. You're just chilling.
Yeah.
And it's cool to do the celebrities and the artistic stuff, but every now and then, you know, the Target commercial is a lot faster than
Relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you own your own salon?
So I did
Okay.
because I opened up my salon thinking that's what you're supposed to do, right? As a beauty, as in hair, nails, everything. That's the goal, right? You
Yep.
open up a beauty salon.
Yep.
And I did it. It was great. We survived COVID. We did it. I've met amazing people. Carolyn, you know, my girl Carolyn, and you know, I trained a couple girls because that was the thing. Like there was something different. We were doing something different, and I put them onto the same thing about like the, you know, the celebrity stuff and the work, you know, the set jobs and stuff like that. When the time crazy stuff happened in the salon, man, the car
Man, the
crashed
car
into there.
crashed into
We
the
got
thing.
robbed.
Yep.
It was a lot.
Remember I told you?
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was just like a lot. And I believe in energies and signs and,
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
at one point, I'm just like, the lease was done. And I'm like, should I do this? And it was a back and forth trying to argue of like pricing, like with the lease.
Yeah.
At the end, the guy, our landlord basically was like, you know, cheap. He was like,
was
oh, just
horrible.
don't leave. But he was a horrible landlord.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
So then we ended up just, I said, yeah. I was like, yeah, sure. But then something told me like, no. And
Nice.
I was like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to do it no more because I wasn't there. I wasn't giving it my all. You know, I was always out. I was either traveling or doing some other stuff, and it wasn't it. But it was an amazing experience. Nowadays, I don't think that salons like that, or depending on where you are, unless it's like you're offering manis, petties, everybody's in the suites. You know, doing their own
Yeah,
thing.
like the
Nobody
little
wants to
Phoenix
work
suites
for
or
Phoenix
whatever.
anybody.
suites and all that.
Nobody
yeah.
wants to work for anybody. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to be their own boss.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that real quick. So you mentioned that because I know we're very similar, and I kind of want to go back here unless I'm missing something. Like we want to bring people up with us. Like we want to empower and like pass the torch, and you know, because like we're abundant mindset people. We're not scarce mindset people. So we feel like there's enough for everybody.
And
like
no gatekeeping.
yeah, there's no gatekeeping. So
I hate gatekeeping.
Lame.
what happened with some of those girls that you kind of try to bring up? Did they go their own way? Did some of your like wisdom kind of carry on, or did it just fizzle?
Yeah, I think so. For sure. Well, I mean, like I said, Carolyn, that's my number one. She's, she's doing great. And then there's other people who I can't take credit for like them being their like,
No.
person, but I like people that have like asked me questions or just done certain things or been in the, like Kimberly, she's doing great. She's doing her little modeling thing, and she's also has her she's doing really great, I think those are like the main two. There's been other ones that have been a little like, you kind of, and my mom is like that old school, like keep it, because we're very protective. And I'm like, no, girl, what's the worst case? Okay, she learned something from me. She want to go do it. She's still not me. I don't really don't care. Like,
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man. I can give you the recipe. The sauce won't be the same.
it's not. It's never.
The sauce won't be the same.
And I tell people, I'm gonna give you this, but you gotta do you.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's how it actually becomes beautiful. Like I can teach you anything, but unless you put your own flavor on it, it's not going to be authentic as if you saw me do it, because that's my thing. So now, okay, let's fast forward. So now you have gotten over here. You've made it. You've made it. Like you've made it. I know. I know you're not going to receive that.
I'm going to interrupt.
I was
real
like,
quick.
stop it, 'cause
I
you made
have
me
to
cry.
remind you, because every time we've had some heart to hearts, and she's kind of I've been there. You're gone through it, and I'm just like, but Yvette, you're winning. No, but I'm not where I want to be. I'm like, you're winning. Like you are able to pay your bills, take care of your son. You're a single mother. Take care of your mother. You're taking care of your mother. Like providing for her life. Don't do it. And you're sustaining your business, and you still get to travel. I still see you live your beautiful life. De los pasos.
See, I told you to stop it.
De los pasos. And so I have to kind of remind her, like, and it's for an entrepreneur, it's hard sometimes. When you're in the trenches, it's hard for someone to tell you, man, you're so successful. Man, I'm so proud of you. Because you're just like, look at this chaos.
You still feel like you're in the water.
So you mentioned something earlier. I'm not even where I want to be yet. What does that look like?
Yeah, what is that? Where do you want to be? What's the end game?
I mean, my problem is I don't ever have an end game, because as soon as I reach it, I just want something else. And I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of learning, and I was talking to her about this last time. I'm learning to just embrace where I'm at, and enjoy that. That's what I've been doing this year. This whole year has definitely been about embracing, like, okay, cool. I may not have, I think my main thing now, I kind of doing what I was set out to, because I've been doing nails for so long. And in my head, I'm like, I physically can't do this for the rest of my life.
Right.
Just physically,
Labor.
just labor. It's still a labor intensive job.
Right.
Even if I'm do like a set job where it's pretty chill, it's still like you have to do prep work. You have to be up really early.
Carry the stuff.
Like it's still a lot of things, and everything happens at the same time. And my friends always make fun of me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just tired of making things just be like normal. Like it's always, I got to do this, and I got to turn these press-ons in. I got to do that. I always have multiple. They're like, girl, you thrive in this chaos. You love all this. I was like, I really kind of do. It's also the ADHD, so we like the pressure of.
Yeah. We tell ourselves that we're not supposed to like it, and then we're like, damn, but I really do good like this.
I really do. I really do. Because I could have like a deadline of something that I have to do, and then it'll be like the very last minute. I'm over here like not sleeping, and
But that's the way you operate.
It's just the way that I operate, I just have to. But yeah,
For now.
for now.
For now.
I've definitely calmed down in that sense, but my end goal for sure is just the freedom.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on my way to that. Something like what I'm doing now, where I'm creating and I'm focusing on the creative part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be able to do this from, if I do decide to go somewhere, travel, I just need to be on the computer, approve certain things. Like, I don't have to physically be there the entire time. And I think that's the end goal for me. I even told my son, I'm like, when you turn 18, you either go to college or go live with your dad, because I don't think I want a house anymore. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I just want to be around the world and just do things. I was like, I really don't want to have like something like, anchoring me down.
I'm going to shift gears in just a second, but just one other question. I was like, where does it come from? Because I see some of the stuff that you do on my wife's nails. Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So shout out to you for that. But where does it come from? Like, are you just think of all of it, or do you take it from inspirations you see, or how does your process work? You be sitting there looking at my wallpaper and go, yo, I'm gonna put that on someone's nails. You do.
Yeah. That's
wow.
Yeah, like I was saying, your bathroom wallpaper, like that, like I literally I had that same wallpaper, and I can do a pattern on the nail like that with like 3D, little snake skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like you look at little things, like even that little background with the blue and stuff. You take inspiration from everything.
And then you're just like, I'm gonna put this on some nails.
Also with social media too, you see, I'll tell my clients, like, if it's a new client, I don't like to just go off and do whatever because I don't know what your style is. Everybody's completely different. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, her nails, hers are on the simpler side to what I do.
Oh wow.
You
Because
know,
I'm not a big bling girl.
Yeah.
So her I would say, specialty is like bling. People love the bling and they come to her for the bling. And I'm just not.
which is fun. But I prefer hand painted. Like I love hand painted nail art, but I like hand painted like abstract art. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to literally see a picture and copy it on the thing.
So when I go to her, literally, I'm like, whatever you want. Just whatever you want. Whatever you're into, I'm with it. You know?
And one thing I don't like copy paste. So even if you bring me an inspiration, like this girl, I'm like, okay, show me like a few pictures, and usually I'll mesh it, or I'm like, I'll take from here and there and do my own thing.
Favorite clients that come to you do what? What's your ideal client? They come to you and they do what?
The hand painted, like if they let me do some like little abstract thing, and I just throw in colors, or I had seen this, or
So like let you do you basically.
yeah, let me do me.
And what's worst client? Worst clients, the ones you hate working with.
Well, they're not my clients.
Oh.
That's the power.
Period.
That's the power.
Period.
Yeah.
I think out of all of the things that I could basically that I will say, I'm not gonna throw shade on other nail techs, but I know nowadays it became a trend of like being very like I have rules of like
Yeah.
don't do this and
Yes.
don't do this. If you come here, you can't
That's
be intimidated. And whatever, to each their own. Some people need that structure, and I respect it.
Yeah.
That's on them. And as a client, you choose if you want to deal with that or not. I'm not like that. But my biggest thing is, why are you arguing with your clients? You don't
Yeah.
like them. Why are they? You're gonna
Why are
sit
they
there
get
with
rid
them
of
for
them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Protect your energy.
So my biggest flex out of all the things that I've done, I think, is the fact that I get to now pick and choose if you're in my chair,
I love that.
and
Yeah.
because I'm not
There's
gonna
power in that.
because it's energy.
It's energy transferred.
I used to have clients where I'm like, I would look at my book, I'm like, I want to go do with this girl. That's
Yeah.
not how it should be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So now you're successful, got your stuff together. You're an attractive Latina. Is it difficult? Because I just heard my wife say that you're a single mother. Is it difficult dating while you're in the industry that you're in? Because I mean, certain guys like. So wait, hold on. So you was just holding Drake's hand? What's up with that? Is it hard? Do you find it
I
hard
wish
to
that
date?
was the problem. That's not even the problem.
We originally were going to call you on for a segment that we're still going to do. We're going to be talking about dating from a woman's point of view, but I think that we've covered so much great content right here with just the industry. And do you find it difficult being who you are and and not only that, maybe even avoiding like some of the groupies, right? Like, oh, I want to go to Nicki Minaj's party.
Wait, but are dudes groupies? You've had what?
The guys are groupies.
You had guys?
Weird.
Dude, y'all out here being groupies?
What is wrong with y'all?
Not to throw shade, but it's a lot of LA vibe. Like LA, I love
LA is
LA. I
different.
love LA. I love LA. It's just, it's hard for me because I don't fit into a box. So a lot of these people, they try to, or when I come up, what do you do for a living? That's always a question, right? What's your favorite color? Whatever, dumb stuff. But the main one is, what do you do, right? So I can't describe that because
Yeah.
I'm a nail artist, but I'm not a nail artist.
regular
Like I'm
nail
not
artist.
just sitting in a table,
Yeah,
which
like
is
I
nothing
ain't
wrong
who you
with.
think I am.
Exactly. And I also don't want to be very like, oh, this is what I do today, because then
Yeah.
you don't want to attract those type of people.
Right, right.
So it has been hard. And then also because of my schedule, that's been the hardest thing.
Her schedule.
So the schedule makes it tough.
Because they'll be like, oh, well, how's your weekend looking? Well, right now I have time Friday. And then, oh, okay, so Friday, oh yeah, so I gotta go to like Wyoming.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm like, oh, I have to go work. But you do nails. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just
it's hard to.
Yeah. Like what? But you just do nails.
Yeah. And I get
Just
that.
do
That's my
nails.
biggest trick when I just do nails.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, how many clients you have? Or how many clients you do a day? I don't know, like 1 or 2. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're like a
you
little nail
broke.
tech.
Yeah. And it's
You
like,
starting
well,
out.
and I don't want to sit there and describe
Stun on them.
everything.
Yeah, you don't want to stun on them. So how do you manage that? How are you able to one, keep somebody from trying to get you to give Nikki their mixtape, and then number 2, how do you keep them like to where they can feel? I mean, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you date? Do you date?
You're on the apps.
I don't really date as well. I don't do great, I guess. I'm very impatient sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, bitch. Come on. I know you. Stop saying that.
Yeah, I'm on the apps. That's the way to go. I mean, I do meet people in person, and you get it. It's fun. But
Has that been fun or what? Because I hear some nightmares about the apps, man.
I will say, where's wood? Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I haven't had any crazy like extreme stories. Like some people have had crazy stories.
Yeah.
I haven't. I mean, there's been times where you go on a date, it doesn't work, or you kind of talk to somebody for a little, they become weirdos. I did have a really crazy one. I had to change my phone number.
No,
That's when
¿qué
I changed my phone
pasó?
number. No, I can't talk about it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Wow.
Off the air.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, that has to be that, because when you're looking, and I also feel like you live in the cesspool of dating. LA is rough.
It's really
If you guys are out there and you're watching this and you have never experienced LA dating, don't.
It's just
don't.
it's tough because here's the thing. Like I would say this as a native, and I would consider we're natives. You know, like LA natives are dope. LA natives are real. You're gonna know where you stand with LA natives. We're not gonna sit here and like front or you know.
Yeah, it's the transplants.
It's the transplants because they come to LA and they're looking at TV and
Just spill my coffee, y'all.
oh shit, we'll get you some paper right now.
Not this chair, not the chair.
So
It's the transplants.
so transplants. Like I'm an LA native, and I feel like every person who I know is from LA or like has lived in LA who's not in Hollywood is real. They're down to earth. They're transparent. They are who they are. They mess with you or they don't mess with you, and you know where you stand. But people who come from Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, anywhere else. I'm not talking about you, girl. I'm talking about you. But they come here with the idea of like being in Hollywood and living this dream. They're watching TV thinking that's real life. They're watching reality TV going, that's what Hollywood, LA is. It's not that. Even me, like we've had this conversation. Like to me, I treated Hollywood as my office. I don't live in my office. So when they're all coworkers, they're all, peers, sometimes competition, but I knew how to disconnect. That's not real life. And a lot of people come here and think that that's real life. And fake it till you make it is true. However, there's people who believe their own fakeness.
Yeah.
They believe that that's
for
just,
sure.
So then it's hard because people think LA is fake. LA's not fake Hollywood.
But when I say fake it till you make it, I don't literally mean that as like
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I meant
I know
it
what you mean.
Like, believe you're confident, you got this, you got this, you got this, I'm the shit. Okay, I'm the shit. Good.
See,
like mindset.
I would call that faith it till you make it.
Yeah.
But because that's what I know what you mean. But los demás out here, they're fronting. I'm a producer. I know so-and-so. I know this, that. And so it's hard to date like that and do business like that.
Very tough.
Because
I stay away from everything you say. It says in music engineer left
slash.
Anything that has to do no.
I never dated anybody in the industry. I purposely would refuse to date
you
somebody.
don't date industry guys? Why?
Because we know better.
But what if there's a really good industry guy out there?
Okay.
Would you never date an industry guy?
No, never say never. I have learned that.
We just talked about this yesterday.
I have learned that the hard way. Never say never. Definitely way more open. Okay, one thing I had to definitely do, and I'm kind of in that. I think I'm jumping back into it. I definitely, because I think COVID changed a lot of things too. COVID changed a lot, like the mindset of people, the way things work. So I had to literally step back and take care of me. And as much as we think we're healed, there's like things that you're like, no. And because then you start realizing like, yo, why do I keep attracting this type of people?
Yeah.
Why does it keep being the same type of freaking people? Because I'm like, then you realize like, okay, girl, the problem is not the people. The problem is you. Because you keep attracting.
Yeah.
Girls, I will say, I'm very much a feminist, but one thing about girls is we really do like to create our own little stories and bubbles, and we think everything is beautiful, and it's either we think everything is beautiful and fairy tale, or we think like, fuck man,
it's the worst, right?
Like everything's like we have like no hope.
They're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. Mm-hmm. So I came from that type of background, being put in my head from like, unfortunately, like my mother and that side. So I came from that. So I'm fighting that. So I went to the extreme of like, that, but then now I'm like, okay, there has to be a middle.
Yeah.
Let's be open. Like you said, let's be open to certain things. But at the same time, you got to let go of all that.
The reason why I asked that is because like, if I'm the manager of a cell phone store and I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, I'm not going to understand your life, but somebody in the industry will definitely understand your life because they're like,
or an entrepreneur.
I was just going to say that entrepreneurs are more, entrepreneurs are definitely the things, like if I'm swiping or something, it has nothing to do with like money or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just the freedom of
them understanding
and the hustle. Like they understand the hustle.
The understanding that things are gonna switch last minute. So when a guy, or sometimes like, oh, I'm sorry, like usually I do this. Great, I love it. Go do you. No, things like that. I haven't found it yet, but
Can a guy take you to cheesecake on the first date?
Yes, I love Cheesecake Factory.
Well, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about women who say that?
We were just talking about this because you guys were having a conversation at the table. We kind of heard the conversation and we were having our own conversation, right? We cannot have all these, I don't think like as women have all these crazy rules and you want all these crazy things. Girl, do you got your shit together? Do you got all your stuff?
Can you take you to Mastro's? Comfortably? I can. Yeah.
See, I think that sometimes women don't understand the guys. Like, let's say that we're dating, that we're just dating. this guy in that cheesecake thing was his first date.
First date.
If every single time, let's just do the math on this. If every single time I went on a date, and let's say how many dates is unreasonable in a week? How many is reasonable? How many is unreasonable? If I'm just dating, trying to meet people, 1, 2.
One? Wait, one a week? Like if we're
I don't
dating?
see. I don't go by this is what I think it should be. I'm very much go with the flow, and you feel the person.
No, I'm saying as a guy,
As-
how many dates would be like? You're dating 2 times a week. Is that normal? 1 time a week? If he's dating multiple
you
people,
were dating,
not just you.
Yeah.
If he's dating multiple people, let's just for the audience, let's just say it's 1 time a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A trip to Mastro's is $250. I don't give a damn what you order. If it's 2
Yeah.
people and you're having apps and
Drinks.
something to drink,
Yeah.
you're talking about $200 to $250. If you did that 4 times a month, that's $1,000. That is $12,000 per year in dating expenses. The average person in America makes $50,000. Why the hell would you even want to date a man who's willing to spend 20% of his income, not his disposable income, 20% of his income on just dating? So going back to what you're saying is it's just not realistic, right? So yes, it's not a realistic thing for a man to just always take a woman to a 5-star restaurant on a first date. But I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with a woman having a standard either. Like,
No.
could a guy take you to Denny's?
No. Well,
It depends.
Well, it depends.
It depends.
I think this is for me. It's all very subjective. I definitely think we need to have non-negotiables. That's one thing I'm talking about. Like I'm definitely learning what my non-negotiables are. There are certain things that are just like no. Like we can meet at a bar. Let's say we meet at a bar and we're chilling and let's say the night keeps going and we want to have a conversation and we end up at Denny's.
Cool.
Different.
That's different.
Totally cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, okay, let's go meet up at Denny's.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why can't we just meet up at a coffee shop? That seems a little bit more.
There was women saying
Yeah.
you can't take it to a coffee shop.
No, see, and
I like going to coffee
yes.
as long as it's a purposeful, like a nice little coffee shop or have a space like something like this where you can like sit
Yeah.
and
and
talk,
talk.
Yeah.
because it's a nice thing to talk
Yeah.
if that's the intent. But it's not like don't take me to just Starbucks.
What about movies on the first date?
I love movies. I love movies.
On the first date?
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to, right? Is like knowing who you're dating.
Knowing who you date. And it's hard. So when you don't know who you're dating, because the purpose of getting to know somebody is to go on a date, I think that I would say an easy segue is something like cheesecake.
Yeah.
Something like, it's neutral. It's easy. There's a little, and you also don't know this person. So do they have allergies? Do they have, so somewhere where I thought that guy's decision was smart. He went to a restaurant that was, I think, adequately priced, has a little bit of everything on the menu in case she had allergies or gluten or whatever. I thought that was a smart approach to dating
Yeah.
someone he didn't know for the first time.
Our first date was a green juice.
It was a green juice. And it's,
Look at us now.
I know.
Oh.
But even I would tell like all my male friends, I'd be like, why are you spending so much money on these dates? Like, find what did they say? Romance without finance is a nuisance. Is like a thing. But Jay's point is, from the woman's perspective, on dating, it's like you also don't know him. You don't know his finances. I don't need to know his finances per se, because I'm not thinking about I'm going to marry this man. But I do need to see kind of how you move, how you
Also,
handle.
It also takes away. If you're the dude that takes every single girl to Mastro's,
It's not special.
it's not special.
Yeah.
So if you take the time to kind of get to know me and to figure out like, oh, this girl looks like she likes movies. You know what? You want to go to a movie and do this? Or let's go bowling.
Let's
or
go for a hike. Or
let's go for a hike,
Yeah.
whatever. Because don't take me for a hike. Don't take me for a
No,
hike.
but every chick is
But
different.
some girls love hikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go do that. I'm not that
Yeah.
girl. So you adapt. I think you should adapt the first date to that person.
So the guy who wants to date Yvette, what is he? The guy,
What's
the
the
viewers out there
approach?
that's like, yo, I'm
Pay
shooting my
attention,
shot.
fellas. Pay attention.
What they do?
Pay
Throw
attention.
him a lob, man.
Dang, throw them a line. Throw them a line. Let them know. Give them a tip. I'm definitely more of like I like to do things like an experience. Like I like to if you can make it a thing of like, okay, we can do like a bowling. I suck at bowling. I love doing things that I suck at because I feel like that kind of lightens the mood. It's
Yeah.
icebreakers.
Yes.
I hate awkward dates. So I'm not, let's go to dinner right away. I don't really like dinner as dates. Because to me, that's
It's a lot of
just
pressure, right?
It's a lot of
pressure.
pressure. Just
Yeah.
sitting there like,
Yeah.
mhm,
So how are you?
and fiddling with the
How's-
fork.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely like, let's go do something. I don't know.
Knowing you're creative,
Go
if you-
kart racing or paint. I don't know, whatever.
If he takes you to like a museum,
Yeah.
that's good?
My thing is, if you show me something new, love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something different.
Something different. Yeah. Something you've never been asked to. Nope, let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know? And I like new things.
What's a turn off? What's the turn offs? Give me 3 big turn offs for those guys out there that are shooting their shots.
Turn offs.
Yeah. What can they not do?
You know you got them, girl. Lay them out.
God, it's a lot. You just said 3. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Three.
I'm not-
Top three.
Top 3. I definitely think like dudes that are very cocky. Like when they're like, I love confidence.
Yeah.
I love confidence.
Yeah.
But there's a level of confidence to just cocky or just talking about yourself all the time or weird.
Yeah.
Another thing to me is don't try to like I said, I'm gonna contradict myself, but not really. I like to know new things, but at the same time, don't try to talk down to me, because that's happened to me plenty of times. Where I remember one time I was like late, and the guy's like, "Well, normally this is why I got here early, so that I had time to look for parking." Like things like that. Like
Yeah.
don't be condescending.
Condescending. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like where you do date a little bit above, or like where you would think is like the well, a lot of them become condescending.
Yeah.
So no, don't be condescending. It just be when you're rude. I just can't deal with rude. If I see you being rude to other people or
The
you
wait
know,
staff
the wait staff
or-
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like I definitely like a guy who's more, he's just
Well, I can tell you from a guy's perspective that when you're dating entrepreneurs and people who are bosses, this is not an excuse, but I am saying that it is very, and Karina and I have had this conversation. It is hard sometimes, even for me, to turn off the boss switch and realize I'm the husband. So sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, Karina," and she'll be like, "Hey, hold on, you don't pay my salary. You could calm down."
Yeah.
It is difficult as you're dating entrepreneurs and things like that for them to turn off that switch. Sometimes they are like, and especially when it comes to time, women love to be late, but for an entrepreneur or a guy who's really in his bag, he's gonna be like, "Yo, fucking up my time is not
But
acceptable."
I don't think these guys were entrepreneurs.
I'm not saying they
No.
are or not. I'm just telling you. From
I
the
get what you're
other-
saying though.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying.
So now you're out dating and you haven't found the guy yet. So how would you feel like? How are you gonna know when it's like that one? How do you know? Do you feel like you've met the? Or let me ask you this, because this is something I feel like no women ever will admit. Do you feel like you've ever fucked off the one?
Ooh.
No.
No, you haven't met the one yet.
No.
Okay, so you've never had one. Have you ever met a man and been in a relationship and be like, "Man, I fucked that up,"
Like you fumbled it, do you think?
Well,
even if he wasn't the one?
yeah, like I'm divorced, so there's definitely mistakes that I know that I made in that relationship, but at the end of it, I'm glad it ended.
Yeah.
It had its purpose.
Yeah.
I have my son, but I definitely made mistakes, and that's one thing I talk about a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely know that I definitely took it for granted. I definitely was because I was, and this is where you have to kind of tap out of, like, my mom was very like mujeres and like that, the whole fuck man, da da da, and sometimes that's a little emasculating.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was tending to go, because I'd be like, and then so I had to stop that.
It was a programming.
Yeah, it was a programming, right? So I had to stop that. Like, I don't come from women that are like submissive and listen to me. I was the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's also not necessarily the best thing, because you become so hyper independent. So that's one thing that I know I messed up on, but I did give it another chance. And where I changed that, because I was like, okay, this is what you did do right. We didn't do right because we separated.
Yeah.
When we came back, I fixed my stuff. He didn't. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. So how did you fix it? How did you self-identify, or did you self-identify it, or did a therapist or somebody call it out?
I'm very self-aware. I've always been very
Very.
self-aware. Very. That's just since I was little. Like I know I know I'm fucking up. I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah. But you're like, oof, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this may not be the best choice. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing. That's my red flag, but I'm working on it. It's better. But I am very, very self-aware. So I already knew, like, right, it was the conversations and stuff like that when he was like, oh, I want to get back. And I'm like, yeah, but if we get back, like, things are not like this. So having that conversation, for example, in that with him, I was like, okay, he told me I didn't like that you did this. But I kind of already knew,
Yeah.
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 And I made a point of, like, for example, my biggest thing was that I kind of would just go and do my thing and work, and just kind of didn't really have the time, or wouldn't give him time, or would just assume he was going to be there. And so I would make it a purpose of, like, trying to make time with him, things like that,
Yeah.
But
I also feel like it's space and time too, right? Like,
Well, we continue to grow,
Yeah.
And the thing is, especially when we have relationships young, we're also growing. We're also, we lack certain life experiences, or even certain awareness of how we would handle certain situations, so you're still growing. So to have a marriage, or to have something super serious that you're tethered to somebody so young,
I was
when you're
22.
still,
You were
I was
22.
21 when you're still growing. So it's hard to grow when you don't have the space to grow. because you're tethered to that one person. You're locked in, you know? But the beauty is that, you know, you were able to self-identify. You said, I don't like this. I want to change this. And you changed it.
Yeah.
That's powerful. You know?
So many women nowadays are like, they're keeping a roster. You keep a roster?
No comment.
Sorry, buddy.
She's single.
So
She's single.
but I feel like it's been an awakening in the female community where women now are like they're keeping their own roster. For years, men did. I mean, for
I just don't see what the
centuries,
problem is, though. Why
Well-
do
Yeah.
guys trip on it? If
Yeah.
guys could do it,
Yeah, because I mean, then,
because what?
you know,
Yeah, see, no, don't, let's not.
Because what? I don't understand.
it's just it's a rough one, man. Men don't really handle that well.
But
Obviously
let's
not.
just flip
No,
the
we don't
scripts.
handle
Let's
it
flip
well.
the scripts. Let's flip the scripts. So if you met, obviously way before me, but if you met a woman who the problem is guys don't say they keep a roster, but we know.
Yeah.
But we know because
Yeah.
there's
We like it that
I'm not
way.
available. I'm not available. I got plans that night, or then some bitches in our DMs talking about woman to woman. Let me talk to you real quick.
Oh, God,
you know.
no.
So, but guys won't do that.
Yeah.
If we had a roster, there's not gonna be no man in your DM talking about, hey man to man, I gotta
Oh, yeah,
let
you would
you
never
know
know.
that
No,
I'm,
no, no,
you know,
they do.
They
No,
do.
you would never
Yeah,
know.
they do.
No, well, if that means you're not doing them right.
You're not doing it right.
Damn. See,
Girls
that,
just
I
do
think
it better.
I think there goes
Girls
the
just
problem.
do it better.
Is that women do it better than us? So then now
You
we're
guys are
pissed.
you're just mad that we're better at it.
True.
That's what it is.
True.
Because if we're not serious and we're just dating and you got a roster and I got a roster, what is it about the male ego? Like, why is that offensive? Why does that bother you guys?
Because it's like J. Cole said it in that song. Like he said, I can hit your chick, you can never hit mine. Like guys do operate on ego.
But I'm not your
especially
chick. I'm just one
Once
of.
we said hi to each other, you are mine.
Oh wow,
You
wow.
are mine.
What dang?
But I'm
Once
not
we
your
swipe
chick.
the same
You-
direction
you
on
would-
that app,
But then also, okay, so now I have a question because just because you have a roster doesn't mean you're necessarily like fucking up on everybody.
Correct.
You know, it could just
Correct.
be this guy is really cool. Like I like to hang out with him.
Yeah.
This one's cool to like have drinks.
Uh-huh.
This one, you know, knows how to fix things. You know.
yes, girl.
So-
yes, girl.
so yeah, there's still some. Yeah, guys don't like that.
Not even that.
No.
But what if you can't do all of those things?
Yeah, but guys just
That the
don't.
one man can't do
build a
that.
man.
Different men for different things.
Yeah, but then I mean, it couldn't go the other way. I mean, well, it does, but
Guess it
it does, but it shouldn't.
This is like the lifelong conversation, like battle between the sexes.
It is like,
always
but
gonna be a
for
thing.
it's tough for men, but because men operate on ego.
Okay, so let's just say you have a roster, and so Mary is number 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And you find out Mary isn't even in your top 3.
Yeah, you still feel away.
Why?
Yeah, I've
you don't
been
even
there.
care.
I've been there. Yeah.
if it makes you feel better, we have favorites.
What?
Yeah, I know. We got
What kind
favorites.
of shit is that?
We do.
Like this, like
So
you could be talking with
what,
that-
MySpace.
Some,
Top
some,
five.
some girls can have a full roster of a whole lot, right? Which I admire. I personally can't do all of that.
Yeah,
You know, I have limited time.
yeah,
But then that's another thing too, like because schedules are so crazy. If I have free time on Thursday and I only have one person that I'm talking to, I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit at my house, fucking be bored on Thursday.
yeah. Because your main dude is out with his other chick. Like,
What in
chill
the
out. just
Male
stay at home and
logic.
watch some Netflix or something.
Wow.
while your man goes and you know what?
I'm saying I'm just telling you what a lot of men are hoping for. I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm just simply saying that that's reality.
No, I agree.
And that's, we're just like,
I grew up
whoa.
with men. I grew up around men,
You're
so
like,
I know
how
the logic.
dare you? How dare you go out while I'm on a date?
Yeah, and then I had a conversation with somebody. I think it was like, "Oh, what do you do?" Like, I'm like, "I'm sorry, sir, I never heard the question." And that's another thing too. Nowadays, nobody asks anything; they just assume you're somehow just together. I mean, you don't have to put a label on
That
it,
is a problem.
but
That's a
it's just
problem.
like, so this person thinks they're in a relationship, and another person doesn't. I was just telling you the other day when I met somebody at a bar, right? He
Yeah.
was like, "You got a boyfriend? You got a husband? You got anybody who thinks
there
you're in a-"
anybody who
and
thinks
I'm
that
like,
they in a relationship?
I'm like, no, what? No,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. You have to ask
have
them.
to
Do-
ask.
All
Is there
those questions.
anybody
Yeah.
who thinks you are?
Yeah,
Because
I have a 23-year-old son, and we were just talking to him yesterday, and he says dating means that you're exclusive. Where in our generation, if you said, "Oh, I'm out dating," you mean like multiple people.
Yeah.
We would tell you like, "Are you exclusive
Yeah.
with somebody?"
Yeah. Are you going steady?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
somebody.
You would ask somebody like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you want to be my girl?"
Right.
Now they just be like,
Men don't ask.
"Girl, you saw I unfollowed all my hoes. You know you my I unfollowed all my hoes. Now I'm with you."
You know damn well.
Right.
So the question I guess that I really have is like when somebody is of your status and you're trying to date and you have or do not have allegedly a roster, how do those men turn it into something? If somebody's interested in turning it more serious, then would you be open to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone on the roster that you don't have that you would take seriously? On the roster that you allegedly
Don't have.
don't have?
On,
Oh, I
Have
was
or
like,
don't
the
what?
have?
non-existent
The
roster.
non-existent roster. Is there somebody that you're like, no, you're just still single?
But I will say, I speak for myself,
Yeah.
that if I were to have a roster, it's because none of them are it's somebody that I'm really interested, because I am the type of person where I really do like someone, I really do forget about the rest of them.
Okay.
That's most of us.
That's most of us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can start because we're kind of bored or we're just getting to know each other. One thing for me is now I'm trying to kind of get to know myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So we have to, as women, sometimes, most of the time, we don't know what we want.
Uh-huh.
So I'm figuring that out.
What
Like,
you
okay,
want.
what do I want?
Yeah.
And even though, I've been single for a while. I've been single for
a
like
few years now.
6 years.
Mhm.
Like 6 years. So I'm an all in or nothing type of person.
Yep.
You know, it's either all of it and I'm there full
Yeah.
on, or we're not. We're just
And the difference is she'll let you know.
yeah, no,
she'll
yeah,
let
oh
you
yeah.
know.
I don't lie. Yeah, I don't lie
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. But I think you just kind of validated my entire point, right? As you just said yourself, you're either all in or not. So that's why men get upset. Because for us, and me and my wife have this conversation all the time, it's like when men cheat, we don't really care why. When men cheat, what's the first thing a woman asks a man? What's the first thing they ask? Why? Why'd you do it?
Yeah, why?
We don't have no damn reason. It's just because it was wet and new. That's why. But for women, this new generation is different. But for women from my generation, if you give yourself to a dude, you like him. You were laughing at his jokes. You thought he was kind of funny. You kind of thought he was handsome when he was like, you actually like that dude.
But that's
you gave
different
yourself
than
to
that's
him.
not a good. It's not a good segue from a roster though. A roster is the roster. It's
But then-
casual. It's dating.
Also, but see, when I clarify one thing, I mirror personality. So
Yeah.
I also see if that guy, I'm also not an asshole. Like if I see that guy is like giving me most of his time,
Yeah.
I won't have. And why would I entertain him and waste his time? That's
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Unless
waste
you
his time.
felt the same.
Yeah, but if I see that he's doing, yeah, and I'm like, okay, let's focus.
Yeah.
But if I could tell, like you said, oh, sorry, I could tell he has me on a roster, so that's what I'm gonna do. All I do is I'm doing what you're doing. You just don't like it.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, no, we
That's-
don't like that.
No.
No, we don't like
And
that.
so if you were to be, if as a man you find yourself on a roster, it's because the girls know that they're on one. That's simple as that.
That's a fact.
I will agree with that statement because I think that when guys are like, yo, it's just us, women will be like, bloop.
But because even with you, honey, like you had a roster.
I had no roster,
You
baby.
had a
I met
roster.
no one. I don't even
You
know
had a
anybody but
roster.
you.
I know it.
He's never
but
met a single woman in his
never
life.
before
Never.
me.
Just
but
you.
when we first were dating, you definitely had some people on the bench.
I had no
But the second that you verbalized, hey, I want to purposely. I think your words was, I want to purposely date you. Like his word, but that's a different kind of man.
Yeah.
When a man comes to you and says, I purposely want to date you. I want to see where this goes. Now they're verbalizing. Here's my intention.
Now you get to say, okay, do I want to do the same thing?
Correct.
Do I want to also put in that extra effort? And if you do, because that person, because it has happened to me where there are the guys that are like, they do have that intent, or I remember one time, I think a guy gave me like like his key to go into his garage or whatever. He's like, that's what that meant, because I accidentally texted the wrong person.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a whole story. But anyways, when the time came that I had to give him back the thing, I was like, well, you never said anything. He's like, what do you mean? I gave you my key. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Guys gotta
Someone
be
gives you a
vocal.
key to their house.
No,
you
it
don't think
wasn't a
it's
key
serious?
to their
The
house.
garage.
It was just
The
to get into the
clicker
garage.
or
It
something.
just made it easier for me to get inside if we, hanging out.
You know,
That doesn't mean
little
anything.
Late night booty calls.
Yeah. That's
doesn't
what
You
mean
I
don't give
do.
a
serious.
like, would you give someone just a remote to your house?
It's
Honey,
not the
it's friends with
house.
benefits. It's
Yes.
like it's just easier to get in and get out at night. So for me, I
Oh
would
my
have
God, I
taken
hope they
that.
don't hear this. But anyways,
I would have taken that like, oh, you want me to get in and get out easier? Thank you. Like, thanks for the parking spot. You know, it makes my little life easier. But
no, because,
it's
and
casual.
also, to me, it was also like we were only seeing each other later night. You hadn't taken me out on a during the
Sound
day and the
familiar?
date. So I'm going off of that. If you don't, that's what I'm saying. I'm here. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, the same thing. Oh, we can't read minds.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Does that sound familiar?
Does that familiar?
I was doing
when
that
we
to you.
first started, we were very just casual.
And
It
now
was
look at you,
very-
married with a baby. So who? Look at that. He was
No,
trying to marry
no.
you and have a baby
No,
with you,
but-
Yvette. Shit.
No.
you
was a-
was double down on my point.
No, there was a whole lot of evolutions before we
No.
got to here. But kind of like what you're saying, when someone does, when you're not serious about it, I respect the fact that as a woman or as a man, you can just go, hey, listen, like what you're giving is not where I'm at. So let's just not bother. I think in dating, in the dating space, to respect both people's times and protect emotions and stuff, just be real. And a lot of folks don't know how to be real.
Yeah, you have to just be honest. And as a girl, like if you do have the intent, you have multiple, whatever. A lot of women sometimes now they've just become savages and heartless.
Very.
And I think that's where the problem has.
I agree.
So
Agreed.
men are traumatized.
We are.
So it's like hurt people hurting people.
Yeah.
So women are just like fuck all men, fuck them. We need to use them. We need to take advantage. That's what men are for.
It's crazy.
No,
It's horrible.
It's crazy.
but that's because they've been hurt as women.
Yeah.
And then they go into hurt. And it's just a vicious cycle of just hurt people, hurting people. And it's because nobody talks, nobody communicates, nobody says anything. So I'm a huge communicator.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what's wrong, but I'm also going to tell you what I like, what I don't like. And that's the thing. In that case, I'm like, you didn't communicate. So how was I supposed to know? If you're seeing me only at night, we only see each other at night. It's always like late night. Okay, cool. You give me, what else am I supposed, why, then should I be delusional?
Extra effort, right.
You made no extra effort. Am I just supposed to keep and be delusional and think maybe he's the one?
Yeah.
So then I went about doing my thing.
Yeah.
And then it turns
Which is
out.
a good point. Like you, men don't want women to like, like what's the word? Well, we kind of like over fantasize or over romanticize
Yeah, because
something.
men get scared of that too.
So then we don't do that, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you didn't know we were hanging out for 3 months. What does that mean?
Yeah, because a lot of times, to your point, what you were just saying is it's the same for men. I just think that women have been branded with that, right? They say women never know what they want. That's because most of you guys can't pick out what the hell you want to eat on a daily basis, right? But men don't really know either. Like, we don't know that we want a wife. We don't know that we want a relationship. Yes, it's always fun to have the flexibility to go do whatever it is that you want to do. But I just feel like, to what you were just saying, there is definitely a shift, a really negative shift that's happened around dating, where people no longer communicate with each other. Nobody's really standing. Everybody is right now # standing on business, but they ain't standing on relationship business. It's really, really tough because you have now, like what you said, just hurt people going around hurting people.
And I'll say, and I'm glad we agree on this, and I've said it before, it does fall on the women's shoulders. Like traditionally, we're the feelers. We're the ones that could sway. We're the ones that could put our foot down and could have a man pay attention or I'm not saying give the man an ultimatum or change him, but a woman could, if he wants something, he'll go get it. So if she goes left, he'll figure out a way to go left if he wants her.
Yeah.
And I think when we're like, fuck that, I'm going to be equally as savage or I'm going to be like a man, then that's gone. That
I agree
factor
with
is
that.
gone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
You
I
know?
think that back, before, women would kind of steer like, no, you do want a home. You do want a family.
Yeah.
Dumb. And then we're like, oh yeah, I've always wanted this. And now, it's more of like, oh,
We're
you
in
don't
these
know, you don't know
streets
what
too.
you need? Fuck it, then I'm out.
We're
Yeah.
in these streets.
That's
you
No,
know?
tough.
it's a savage. It's very savage mode.
That's rough.
It's very rough. It's rough out there.
Well, this has been such an amazing conversation. I think you've given us so much game on the industry and what it's like dating from somebody in the industry. I just want to say thank you for your time. This is my first time actually. I don't think we've ever talked this long.
No.
I don't
this
think we've
long.
ever talked this long, but
No.
it's been amazing. So,
Where can they find you?
yeah, where can they find you at?
Instagram.
People who wanna follow Yvette and the guys who wanna slide in your DMs. Where are they?
He's like, look at the camera. No,
Spell it out slowly, please.
my IG is Yvette_G. So that's YVETT_G. There's no E. Yeah, I keep it. I mean, TikTok, I think, is the same. Yvette.G. That's about it. I kind of had to consolidate my social media. It was a little too.
And with as big as you are, if there's a girl out there who's like, yo, I want her to do my nails, how do they get your attention?
That's a good question. You can DM me.
Oh, you still active in your DMs?
I do. Yeah. I do. I kind of go through phases where I'll pop in and I'll take new clients. I'll post it like, hey, taking new clients now. Holidays and stuff, I'll take like a new batch. Because sometimes girls just want to come in and get their nails done with me once.
Yeah.
Just to have the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
It may not be able to fit you in as a regular, but I have people who come from out of town. Like I have this lady that comes from Australia when she's in town. Fit you in,
Or at least you can see all the art on her page and get some inspiration.
Yeah,
That's right.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much again for the time. Listen, couple moves away is always appreciative of our guest. This one right here is, I tell people when it comes to the nail tech, I've joked with my wife many times. I told my wife, you don't have to be, I only ask that you're as loyal to me as you are your nail tech.
He says that all the time.
All the time.
That's all I ask.
All the time.
Because my wife will fly from here to LA for her nail tech.
Yes.
And,
Also, there's a difference between nail tech and nail artist. I don't want to cut you off.
Nail artist.
nail artist.
My nail artist.
My apologies.
We gotta find a term for that.
Yeah, it should be something way doper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We're gonna figure that out. But I just want to say thank you for your time.
Thank
If
you.
you are watching, you guys make sure that you guys follow. Make sure when that line drops, you guys go cop her new artistic design of the Nicki Minaj press on
Pink
kit.
Friday.
Pink Friday.
Pink Friday nails.
Pink Friday nails. Y'all go get that. And if you're in LA, in the LA area, or you got that bag and you want to fly her to go, do yours, make sure you guys shoot her the DM. Make sure the bag is right because she ain't cheap. She ain't $40. I can't get $40.
No.
Damn.
And also, just make sure you follow her. Shower her with love. Check out her work. We need to see more Latinas like her who are, forging forward, creating their own path, empowering other women. We need more of you, girl.
Yeah, you're dope.
So let's see
Thank
where
you.
you
Thank
where
you.
you
We
end up.
celebrate you today. Thank you
you so
guys for
much.
coming to another episode of Couple Moves Away. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, send it to your friends. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week. Shout out to y'all. Peace.
Bye.